I have Courtney and Joe in here.
She almost walked away a legend, then made the one move that guaranteed she'd lose.
So I never do this, but my name is Tiffany.
Oh, hi.
I saw you, and I think you're really handsome.
Tiffany began with the kind of reality TV maneuver that earns a standing ovation. Cool, calculated, and delivered with the emotional chill of a seasoned card shark. Carlo had it coming, and she dealt the blow with finesse. For one brief, glorious moment, she had him reeling, his ego dented and his narrative under her control.
I'm sure he'll have a big smile on his face because he's been waiting for this.
If the encounter had ended there, it could have been preserved as a textbook example of composure and power play. Unfortunately, the victory was short-lived. Just hours later, the plot soured when Elise revealed that Carlo's dalliances with her were not a one-off, but a recurring arrangement.
I'm hoping to get some time to bring up kind of where I'm at right now and see what he has to say.
What could have cemented Tiffany's win instead turned into an unforced error. She entertained the notion of taking him back. The woman who had so artfully outmaneuvered him in conversation promptly undercut her own position, giving her adversary another chance he neither earned nor respected. If this was a masterclass, she aced the midterm and then failed the final.
Well, it's both sides. All right.
The decision to re-engage with Carlo was not only baffling but self-defeating. His track record, questionable commitment, dismissive comments about her being a mother, and a general lack of integrity was in full public view. Yet rather than walk away with her dignity intact, Tiffany leaned into the kind of win-him-back logic that plays well in telenovelas but poorly in real life. The result was a woman who moments earlier commanded the room, now looking as though she'd traded her crown for a consolation ribbon. Her competitive energy seemed aimed less at securing a worthwhile partner and more at outmaneuvering another woman. This fixation on beating Elise,
Are you going to have a conversation with Tiffany?
rather than recognizing the man himself was a dubious prize, only deepened the irony. The prize, after all, was a man who'd already declared his disinterest in her life circumstances. Perhaps the most disappointing turn was Tiffany's descent into the age-old and depressingly cliché pattern of directing hostility toward the other woman rather than the man at the center.
I feel like he's so nervous.
Carlo's manipulations became ammunition for cheap shots, with Tiffany casting Elise in derogatory terms while giving Carlo room to reposition himself. It was the kind of, but she said, drama, more suited to adolescent cafeteria politics than adult conflict resolution. Even worse, Tiffany's approach left her looking hypocritical, condemning Elise as trash, while glossing over her own well-documented history of questionable romantic choices. Her previous entanglement with Ronald, a man with a resume of gambling, addiction, and theft, suggested a pattern less about finding quality partners and more about chasing volatility.
I have Courtney and Joe in here.
Make no mistake, Tiffany's initial handling of Carlo was a masterstroke in emotional restraint. She denied him the reaction he sought, forced him into defensive over-explaining, and subtly flipped the power dynamic in her favor. In that moment, she played him as effortlessly as he had hoped to play her.
I've been clear with Carlo and Rocky that I'm still keeping my options open.
But strategy without follow-through is just performance. When the next morning rolled around, the same woman who had drawn hard lines was suddenly negotiating them. Whether this reversal was driven by wounded pride, on-camera calculation, or genuine attraction, it revealed an inability, or unwillingness, to stand by her own boundaries. Adding to the murkiness is the speculation that Tiffany entered the show in a committed off-camera relationship, making her televised entanglements little more than scripted theater.
But I think Jay's moving way too fast for me.
If true, the emotional stakes were non-existent, and the entire arc was an exercise in generating drama for the sake of airtime. This would also explain her unusually close rapport with production, her foreknowledge of cast gossip, and her targeted shade toward Elise's.
Yeah. Come here, Tiffany.
It reframes her decisions not as missteps in judgment, but as deliberate beats in a storyline. A reality show veteran playing the long game, even if it meant torching her own credibility in the process. Tiffany's story is less about one woman's romantic misadventure and more about a recurring reality TV pathology.
I think at this point, it's just important for me to refocus on what I'm here for.
The fixation on winning a person rather than walking away from a bad bet. The zero-sum thinking, where another woman's loss is the only acceptable proof of one's own worth, turns grown adults into gladiators over men who, frankly, aren't worth the airfare.
You're in this position with Tiffany,
Right.
and the last thing I want.
In this case, the prize was an immature, ego-driven man whose greatest accomplishment was making two women squabble over him. The real victory would have been in refusing to play. She began as the architect of one of the season's sharpest takedowns, controlling the opponent's defenses, her opponent's defenses, and leaving him visibly shaken. But the triumph collapsed under the weight of her own backpedaling.
Came here for. Like, I'm still very much interested in getting to know Rocky, so
In the end, she transformed what could have been an enduring power move into just another forgettable round of romantic recycling. And in the brutal economy of reality television, almost is just another way of saying you lost. Stay plugged in to Reality Rampage with Zara, where 90-day drama never sleeps.